My parents say I'm threatened by strong women for not giving my sister my beach house for her Instagram career, 3K followers. Update, she's now on probation and calling herself a resilience coach. Hi everyone. Today's story will blow your mind, but really quick, if you enjoy this content, hit that subscribe button. Channel's been a bit quiet lately, and your support keeps it all going. Let's jump in. Original post, r/relationships. I, 31M, need to vent about my sister Jennifer, 27F, and our parents, 60M, 58F, because I'm at my wit's end. I purchased a beach house in Malibu 18 months ago after years of careful saving and investment returns from my job at a tech firm. It's modest by Malibu standards, 2 bedrooms, direct beach access, nothing flashy, but it represents everything I've worked for since college. Jennifer decided 6 months ago that she's going to be an influencer. She has 3,000 Instagram followers, mostly bought, and posts generic lifestyle content. Last week, she informed me, not asked, informed, that my beach house should be hers because, and I quote, successful content creators need aesthetic spaces more than corporate drones who just sleep there. Let me provide some context about Jennifer. Growing up, she was the golden child who could do no wrong. Failed out of college. Dad said traditional education wasn't for creative minds. Fired from 5 jobs in 2 years. Mom insisted employers couldn't handle her innovative thinking. Maxed out credit cards on designer clothes. Parents paid them off because investing in her image is investing in her future. When I bought the beach house, I made the mistake of hosting a family dinner there. Jennifer spent the entire evening taking photos, barely acknowledging the celebration. The next day, she posted the photos with captions like, "Manifesting my dream home," and "Soon this view will be my daily reality." I thought she was joking. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, she sat me down with a PowerPoint presentation. Yes, an actual presentation, titled Maximizing Asset Potential, a Strategic Reallocation Proposal. She argued that since I work remotely most days and only use the house on weekends, she should have it Monday through Friday for content creation. Her logic. My tech salary means I could easily rent somewhere else, while she needs the house to build her empire. When I laughed, perhaps insensitively, but come on, she accused me of gatekeeping success and perpetuating capitalist barriers against creative professionals. Our parents immediately took her side. Mom called me that evening, disappointed that I would crush Jennifer's dreams when I have so much. Dad sent a lengthy text about how real men support their family's ambitions, and suggested I was being selfish. The situation escalated yesterday. Jennifer posted on her Instagram story that she's launching a Beachside Boss Babe series next month, with my house prominently featured in her mood board. She's been telling her followers she's securing the perfect creative space, and even started a GoFundMe to support a female entrepreneur's journey, heavily implying she's about to own beachfront property. Our parents have now suggested a family meeting to discuss fair resource distribution. Mom keeps sending me articles about toxic masculinity in sibling relationships and how successful women threaten insecure men. Dad informed me that they're considering updating their will to balance things out if I continue being uncooperative. I worked 70-hour weeks for 5 years to afford this house. I lived in a studio apartment, drove a 15-year-old Honda, and meal prepped every Sunday to save money. Meanwhile, Jennifer lived rent-free with our parents until last year, when they subsidized her luxury apartment because she needed to live her truth in a space that reflects her values. Am I crazy for not wanting to hand over my house to my sister for her Instagram career? Our extended family is split. My Uncle Patrick thinks I should be the bigger person, while my Aunt Sharon believes Jennifer needs a reality check. Our cousin Michelle, who's an actual successful influencer with 500K followers, privately told me Jennifer's content is embarrassingly amateur and she's playing dress-up. The breaking point came this morning. Jennifer sent me a contract she drafted, using a template she found online, for a creative space sharing agreement that would give her exclusive use of the house Monday through Friday, plus any holiday that's optimal for content creation. In return, she's offering me 10% of all profits generated from content created at the location and executive producer credit on her YouTube channel that has 12 subscribers. I'm exhausted. Every achievement in my life gets reframed as an opportunity for Jennifer. When I got promoted to senior developer, she asked if I could hire her as a creative consultant for $100,000 a year. When I dated Amanda, who worked in fashion, Jennifer tried to leverage that into free clothes and industry connections. Now my house has become her latest target. The weird part, Jennifer genuinely believes she's being reasonable. She's not consciously manipulative. She's been so enabled that she truly thinks the world should rearrange itself around her desires. Our parents reinforce this by treating her every whim as genius and every failure as someone else's fault. I need perspective. Am I being the selfish brother our parents claim, or is this as insane as it feels? Update 1, 2 weeks later. I thought setting firm boundaries after my last post would solve things. I was wrong. The situation has escalated beyond anything I imagined. After receiving overwhelming support here confirming I wasn't crazy, I sent Jennifer and our parents a clear message. The house is mine, I will not be sharing it for content creation, and this discussion is closed. Jennifer responded by calling me a dream killer and posting a tearful Instagram story about toxic family members who can't support female success. Last Tuesday, I had to fly to Seattle for a critical client meeting. I'd installed security cameras after the previous drama, partly on the advice of several Redditors who predicted escalation. Thank God I did. Wednesday afternoon, while I was in meetings, I received a motion alert. I opened the app to find Jennifer at my house with a photographer, 2 friends, and approximately 30 outfits. They'd set up professional lighting in my living room. She was posing on my couch, my deck, even in my bedroom, which she'd completely rearranged for better angles. I immediately called her. She didn't answer. I texted demanding she leave. She replied, "Stop being dramatic. I'm not hurting anything. This is what family does, share resources." I had to excuse myself from my client dinner to deal with this. I called the police and explained the situation. They said since I'd given her a key previously, for emergencies only, and she wasn't breaking anything, it was a civil matter unless I wanted to formally trespass her. While I was on the phone with the police, Jennifer went live on Instagram. I watched in horror as she gave a house tour, telling her followers this was a sneak peek of my new creative space, and that she was so blessed to finally have a sanctuary for content creation. She stood in my kitchen, explaining how she planned to film cooking videos there. She sat at my desk, describing her future CEO moments she'd capture. The comments were equally delusional, her friends hyping her up, strangers congratulating her on the glow up. One commenter asked how she afforded it, and she replied, "When you're aligned with your purpose, the universe provides." I immediately called my lawyer friend, Christopher. He drafted a cease and desist letter that night. I flew back Thursday morning, changed all the locks, and installed a new security system that alerts me to any motion. You'd think this would upset Jennifer. Instead, she spun it as content. Her next post was about overcoming obstacles on your journey, and featured a photo of her looking pensively at the ocean, taken from a public beach, with a caption about, "When people try to dim your light, shine brighter." Then our parents got involved. They invited themselves over Saturday to mediate. Except there was no mediation, it was an intervention about my controlling behavior. Mom sat in my living room, the one I paid for, and explained how I was unconsciously intimidated by Jennifer's potential. She'd brought printed articles about successful female entrepreneurs who faced family resistance and wanted to read them aloud. Dad lectured me about abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset and suggested I was operating from a place of fear. The most infuriating part? They'd brought Jennifer's business plan, a vision board covered in pictures of beach houses, including mine, luxury cars, and designer goods with 2024 goals written in glitter pen. Mom presented this as evidence of Jennifer's serious professional intentions. I lost it. Not screaming, but I firmly told them that Jennifer's delusions weren't my responsibility, her career wasn't my obligation to fund, and if they wanted to enable her, they could give her their house. Dad's response? "We don't live on the beach, Robert. She needs the aesthetic." They literally believe geography determines success as an influencer. When I pointed out that Michelle, our actually successful influencer cousin, started in her tiny apartment, Mom said, Michelle didn't have Jennifer's vision. She settled for less. Jennifer then entered what I call her martyrdom phase. She posted about rising above negativity and knowing your worth when others don't see it. She started a podcast, yes, a podcast, called Beachside Blocked, a creative's journey through family trauma. The first episode, which has 43 listens, probably all family and friends, features her crying about how I'm sabotaging her destiny. Our extended family is now completely divided. Aunt Nancy thinks I should rent Jennifer the house at a family discount. Uncle David says I should tell them all to pound sand. Cousin Brian, who's also an entrepreneur, privately messaged me, "Your sister is the type of person who'd fail even if you gave her everything." The worst development? Jennifer has started telling people I'm abusive. Not physically, but she claims I'm financially and emotionally abusive by withholding resources to maintain control. She's joined Facebook groups for survivors of narcissistic siblings, where she shares wildly distorted versions of events. Last night, she posted in one group that I inherited the beach house from a grandparent and refused to share it with her. Complete lie. Our grandparents are still alive and living in Ohio. When someone questioned the story's inconsistencies, she claimed I'd gaslit her into confusion about the details. I'm documenting everything on the advice of Christopher. Every text, every post, every deranged email from our parents about supporting family dreams. He says if Jennifer escalates further, I'll have grounds for a restraining order. The irony. If Jennifer put half the energy she spends on trying to take my house into actual content creation, she might build a real following. But that would require work, and Jennifer doesn't do work, she does manifestation. I'm exhausted but resolved. The house remains mine, the locks remain changed, and the cameras keep recording. Whatever happens next, I'm not backing down. Update 2, 6 weeks later. I need to update because the situation has spiraled into legal territory, and I want documentation in case Jennifer finds these posts. After my last update, Jennifer went quiet for 2 weeks. Our parents also stopped calling. I foolishly thought they'd accepted reality. Instead, they were planning. 3 weeks ago, I left for a weekend trip to San Francisco for my best friend Michael's wedding. I'd been in the wedding party, so I left Thursday night and planned to return Monday morning. I made the mistake of posting a photo from the rehearsal dinner on my private Instagram, forgetting Jennifer follows me from 3 fake accounts I hadn't identified. Saturday evening, during the reception, my security system started sending alerts. I checked the app to see Jennifer at my house with what looked like a full production crew, 3 cameras, professional lighting, and at least 10 people. They weren't just filming, they were essentially throwing a party. I could see people drinking my wine, cooking in my kitchen, and someone was setting up what appeared to be a photo shoot in my bedroom. I immediately called the police. Since she wasn't a tenant and I had explicitly trespassed her, they agreed to respond. I then called Christopher, who said to let the police handle it and document everything. What I didn't see on the cameras until later was the actual damage. Jennifer's crew included her friend Tyler, who claimed to be a set designer. He decided my living room needed reorganization for better flow, and attempted to mount a backdrop system to my wall, drilling multiple holes and cracking the drywall. Someone spilled red wine on my white couch. They moved my furniture to the deck for golden hour shots, and a glass table shattered when they tried to use it as a platform for equipment. The police arrived within 40 minutes. Jennifer told them she was my sister and had permission to be there. When they asked for proof, she showed them old texts from a year ago when I'd said she could visit anytime. The officers called me, I explained the situation, and they made everyone leave but said it was still a civil matter regarding the damage. Jennifer's response to being removed by police? She went live on Instagram from her car outside my house, crying about police harassment and claiming I'd called armed officers on a woman of color trying to build her business. Jennifer is white, as am I. She said I was weaponizing the system against female entrepreneurs, and tagged several feminist organizations asking for support. When I returned Monday, the damage was worse than the cameras showed. Beyond the physical damage, they'd gone through my personal items. My laptop was moved, my documents were scattered, and someone had tried to access my desktop computer, thankfully password protected. Most creepily, Jennifer had left a vision board on my bed with pictures of the house covered in affirmations like, my creative sanctuary, and universe-gifted workspace. I filed a police report for breaking and entering, vandalism, and trespassing. The detective, surprisingly, took it seriously when I showed him the timeline of events, the cease and desist letter, and previous documentation. He said with the evidence, the district attorney might pursue charges. That's when our parents went nuclear. Mom called me screaming that I was destroying the family over a little misunderstanding. Dad threatened to disown me if I pressed charges against Jennifer. They claimed she thought she had permission and was just enthusiastic about her career. I sent them the security footage. Their response? Mom said Jennifer was clearly making the space more beautiful, and I should be grateful for the free interior design consultation. Dad said the damage was normal wear and tear, and accused me of looking for excuses to persecute Jennifer. The next day, Jennifer launched a GoFundMe titled, Help a Female Entrepreneur Fight Legal Harassment. She claimed I was a millionaire tech executive, I'm not, using the legal system to silence a creative woman's voice. She raised $3,000 in 2 days, mostly from stranger who bought into her victim narrative. Christopher helped me send a legal notice to GoFundMe about fraud, since she was lying about the circumstances. They froze the fund pending investigation. This triggered what I call the meltdown. Jennifer posted a 47-minute video to YouTube titled, My Truth, A Sister's Betrayal, where she painted herself as a victim of a misogynistic brother threatened by female success. She claimed I'd promised her the house when I bought it, lie, that our parents witnessed this promise, lie, and that I was now gaslighting everyone to maintain control, projection. The video went semi-viral in certain toxic communities. I started getting hateful DMs from strangers calling me an abuser, a narcissist, and worse. Someone found my LinkedIn and started leaving comments on my professional posts about supporting women. But Jennifer made two crucial mistakes in her video. First, she admitted on camera to entering the house when she knew I was gone. Second, she showed footage from inside my house that she'd filmed during the break-in, essentially providing evidence of her crime. The detective called me after reviewing everything. The DA's office decided to file charges: criminal trespassing, vandalism, and breaking and entering. Jennifer was arrested last Tuesday. The family explosion was atomic. Our parents drove to my house at 11 p.m., pounding on the door, demanding I drop the charges. Mom was crying hysterically about Jennifer's future. Dad accused me of being vindictive and said, "She's your sister. Family doesn't do this to family." I asked them about the $4,000 in damage to my property. Their answer: "That's what insurance is for." I asked them about the harassment campaign. Mom said, "She's just expressing her feelings." I asked them about the lies she's spreading. Dad said, "Everyone knows Jennifer exaggerates. No one takes it seriously. Except people do take it seriously. I've had to hire a lawyer to send cease and desist letters to 3 different people who've been harassing me online. My company's HR department has had to get involved because someone contacted them claiming I was an abuser." Jennifer's arraignment was yesterday. She pleaded not guilty and is claiming she had implied permission to be at the house. Her court-appointed attorney is trying to argue this is a family dispute that doesn't belong in criminal court. Our parents have paid her bail and hired her a private attorney. They've also started telling the extended family that I'm having a mental breakdown and am paranoid about Jennifer's success. They've rewritten history to the point where they genuinely seem to believe their own lies. Aunt Sharon called me last night. She'd been neutral until now, but said she can't stay quiet anymore. Apparently, Jennifer has been hitting up various family members for money for her legal defense fund, claiming I'm trying to destroy her life over a misunderstanding. Sharon said, "Robert, your sister is mentally unwell, and your parents are enabling her delusions." The trial is set for next month. Christopher is helping me prepare, and I have mountains of evidence. But I'm honestly exhausted. I just wanted to enjoy my beach house that I worked hard to buy. Instead, I'm dealing with a sister who believes she's entitled to my property and parents who enable her delusions. The saddest part? If Jennifer had ever once asked genuinely, not demanded, not manipulated, but asked, if she could occasionally use the house for photos when I wasn't there, I probably would have said yes. But she doesn't ask. She takes, then plays victim when there are consequences. Final update, 4 months later. This will be my final update because the legal situation has concluded, and I need to move forward with my life. Jennifer's trial was a spectacle. She showed up dressed like she was going to a fashion shoot, not criminal court. She'd been posting on Instagram about her legal journey and treating the whole thing like content. The judge was not amused when she tried to live stream from the courthouse steps. Her defense was essentially that as family, she had implied permission to access the house. Her attorney argued this was a civil dispute that had been unnecessarily criminalized. They tried to paint me as a vindictive brother using the system to punish her for being an ambitious woman. The prosecution destroyed this narrative. They presented the cease and desist letter proving Jennifer knew she wasn't welcome. A security footage of her checking my Instagram to confirm I was gone. A text messages where she explicitly said she was taking what should be hers. The footage from her own YouTube video where she admitted to entering when I wasn't home. The photos of the $4,000 in damage. Evidence of her fraud on GoFundMe. A documentation of the harassment campaign she orchestrated. The most damaging evidence came from Jennifer herself. She insisted on testifying against her lawyer's advice. She claimed the house was spiritually hers because she'd manifested it first. She actually told the judge that the universe had ordained her to have the house and I was interfering with cosmic justice. She referred to herself as a creative entrepreneur and me as a corporate drone multiple times, arguing that artists deserve resources more than salary slaves. The judge asked her directly, "Ms. Jennifer, did your brother give you permission to enter his house that weekend?" Her response, "He gave me permission to be my authentic self, and my authentic self needs that space." The judge's expression was priceless. She was found guilty on all charges. The judge sentenced her to 2 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and ordered her to pay full restitution for the damage. More importantly, he issued a restraining order, Jennifer cannot come within 500 feet of me or my property, and she's prohibited from posting about me on social media. Our parents' reaction was predictable. Mom screamed that the judge was biased against creative people. Dad declared I was dead to him for ruining Jennifer's life. They've told the entire extended family that I'm a monster who got Jennifer a criminal record over borrowing the house for photos. But here's where things got interesting. Jennifer couldn't handle the restraining order's social media clause. Within a week, she posted a thinly veiled story about a narcissistic relative who used patriarchal systems to silence her. She deleted it within hours, but I'd already screenshot it. Her probation officer was not pleased. She received a formal warning that another violation would mean jail time. The financial reality hit next. The restitution payments meant Jennifer had to get an actual job. Our parents tried to pay it for her, but the judge specified it had to come from her own earnings as part of taking responsibility. She now works at a coffee shop, which she calls temporary grounding in the service sector to understand all facets of business. The extended family drama has been equally revealing. Uncle Patrick, who initially thought I should be the bigger person, called to apologize after Jennifer tried to scam him out of $5,000 for a business opportunity that was just her trying to pay her legal fees. Cousin Michelle, the successful influencer, publicly commented on one of Jennifer's posts saying, "Stop blaming others for your lack of work ethic." Our parents have doubled down on their delusions. They've created an alternate reality where Jennifer is a victim of the patriarchy. I'm a woman-hating misogynist, despite having a healthy relationship with my girlfriend Amanda, and the legal system is rigged against creatives. They've cut me off completely, which honestly feels like a relief. Mom sent one last email saying I'd regret choosing property over family, and that when I'm old and alone, I'll realize money can't buy love. I responded that I'd rather be alone in my beach house than surrounded by people who believe they're entitled to my achievements. The plot twist came last month. Jennifer started a new Instagram account. She thinks she's being clever using a different email. She's rebranded herself as a resilience coach and is selling $200 courses on overcoming family trauma and legal persecution. She has 17 customers, mostly other delusional people from her support groups. She's also been telling people she's writing a book about her journey through the criminal justice system as a creative entrepreneur. A friend showed me her proposal. It's 40 pages of delusion where she compares herself to various wrongly persecuted historical figures. She actually wrote that she's the Van Gogh of social media, unappreciated in her time. I've moved on. I installed better security, including cameras that back up to the cloud immediately. I've gone low contact with most of the family, keeping in touch only with those who see through Jennifer's manipulation. I'm in therapy to process the gaslighting and manipulation I didn't even realize I'd experienced growing up. My therapist helped me understand that Jennifer likely has narcissistic personality disorder enabled by our parents' own issues. The entitlement, the complete lack of empathy, the constant victimhood, the grandiose sense of self, it all fits. Our parents, meanwhile, seem to have created Jennifer as an extension of their own unfulfilled dreams, living vicariously through her imagined success. The beach house has become my sanctuary in a way I never expected. It's not just a property, it's a symbol of breaking free from toxic family dynamics. Every sunset I watch from my deck reminds me that I chose my own peace over their chaos. Last week, I ran into an old family friend, Barbara, at the grocery store. She said our parents are telling everyone I'm having a mental breakdown and that they're worried about my stability. She also said Jennifer is telling people she's planning to buy a better beach house next year with her coaching profits. Some delusions never die. I'm sharing this final update as closure and as a warning to others. When family members show you who they are, believe them. When they try to guilt you into giving up what you've earned, stand firm. When they paint you as the villain for having boundaries, remember that their reaction proves the boundaries were necessary. My beach house remains mine. My peace remains intact. And Jennifer remains convinced she's one viral post away from the success she deserves. Our parents remain in their bubble of enablement. And I remain free from all of it. To those who followed this saga, thank you for the validation when I needed it most. To those dealing with similar situations, protect what's yours and don't let anyone, family or otherwise, convince you that their entitlement is your obligation. I'm closing this chapter and moving forward. The sound of waves from my deck is calling, and I have a sunset to enjoy from the house I earned, in the peace I've chosen, living the life that's actually mine.